Hey mamas, it's your girl Carrie, and welcome back to another episode of Mom Wife Career Life. I don't know about you, but for me, this winter has honestly felt like the longest one ever. It's the most snow we've gotten since we moved to New Jersey almost 10 years ago, and it felt like it just stuck around forever. Every time it started to melt, another storm rolled in. But this week, the temperatures jumped up to the 70s, and let me tell you, it instantly lifted my mood. And being able to go for a walk outside without wearing 10 layers and my long puffer coat that I've had since I worked in the city and really never wore until this winter, but it was a godsend. But going outside without having to wear that long coat and a hat and gloves and a scarf and just feeling the sunshine again, I am absolutely loving it. And it really got me thinking about the summertime and all the fun things we have to look forward to: the vacation, the beach days, the pool time, the ice cream runs, the Rita's Ices, which is my absolute favorite, backyard barbecues, those late sunsets when the kids are still playing outside. Summer is just a special season when you have kids. But as working moms, you know that the summer just doesn't magically happen. Between the beach days and the ice cream trips, unfortunately, we're still working. Well, I guess fortunate that we have jobs, but unfortunate that we don't have the summer off, which means someone has to have a plan for the kids because camps, they fill up early, sports schedules start popping up. Some of you might have high school athletes where fall sports actually start before the school year even does, which we didn't learn about until our kids were in it. And we made summer plans, and all of a sudden we had to change them because the last 2 weeks of August are sports mode. And if you have older kids like I do this year, there are things like college orientation and early move-in dates that suddenly become part of the calendar too, which it's bittersweet. I'm so excited for her. So sad for me. But while summer is still fun, it also takes a little bit of planning. And when you take the time to plan an intentional summer, something really great happens. Instead of summer flying by in a blur, you actually create moments your family are going to remember. You reduce some of the chaos. You feel more prepared for the weeks when you're working, and you still have space for a lot of fun. And honestly, one of the tools that I've been using lately to help me lighten that mental load and create that space to live life with more intention is my 10 ChatGPT prompts that every working mom needs to plan her week and just lighten that mental load. So if you want to grab your free guide, the link is in the show notes. Now let's jump into today's episode. Are you feeling overwhelmed trying to juggle all the many hats you wear as a working mom? Do you want more quality time with your family without distraction of work, time alone to take care of yourself and your needs? Welcome to Mom Wife Career Life. I'm Carrie, a wife, a mom of 3, and a recovering perfectionist. In this podcast, I will teach you how to create balance in your life by implementing healthy habits, organizing your home and your schedule, being so intentional with your time and in your relationships, and most importantly, how to start putting your needs first, because no one can pour from an empty cup. Grab that second cup of coffee, or if you're anything like me, your third. It's time to dive into today's episode of Mom Wife Career Life. Summer is coming, and if you're a working mom, you might have mixed emotions about it. On the one hand, summer just sounds amazing, especially after coming off of this harsh winter. The last of our snow finally melted yesterday, and I actually saw flowers starting to pop up, which just brought such happiness to my heart. And with summer coming and the later evenings, it means more sunshine, more time for family things, later nights, because I'm staying up a little later these days. I'm not so depressed with the darkness outside. But on the other hand, summer can sometimes feel a little bit more chaotic. The kids are home more, schedules are different. Maybe you have camps that start at different times on different sides of town. There's your vacation that hopefully you started planning, sports and travel, and it just adds up so quickly. And before you know it, September rolls around and we're thinking, wait, where did the summer go? So today I wanted to talk about the practical side of planning an intentional summer, because summer doesn't just magically fall into place, although I'm sure it feels that way to your partners, because it's usually us moms that end up doing all the planning between the camps, the sports schedules, the vacations, and figuring out what your kids are doing on what days. It actually becomes a little bit of a strategy, which I'm all about strategy. I love strategy. But today we're talking about how to plan your summer in a way that's both intentional and, most importantly, practical. A summer where your logistics are handled so that you could actually enjoy the time with your family instead of feeling like you're constantly trying to keep everything from falling apart. So we're going to kick it off with step 1. Start with the reality of your schedule. Before we get to all the fun stuff, we have to start with our reality, because for working moms, summer still involves work. Although if you're a teacher, you get a much deserved break. I was supposed to make that career change in my early 30s to become a teacher. I got my master's, my certification. I'm actually still certified to teach in the state of New Jersey. But for some reason, I decided to stay in the corporate world But every time June comes along, that summer envy kicks in. And every time September rolls around, I still dream of setting up my classroom. I actually bought a ton of stuff to decorate my classroom, the number lines, the alphabet, fun name tags for their desk. And I still have them. I've actually tried to give them away before, but there's something in me that just won't let it happen. But kudos to all you teachers out there. You're on that summer countdown, and I'm so jealous. Sorry, that was a bit of a tangent, but back to your schedule. The first question you're going to ask yourself is, what does our summer schedule realistically look like? I want you to think through things like, are you working from home or are you commuting? What days will the kids need childcare? Are you signing them up for camps? Do you need to stagger camps over the whole summer or just do weekly ones if your kids play sports? Or can you just take it week by week? If your kid plays a sport, this is also a time to look at summer leagues, summer training, practices, tournaments. And God bless you if you have a kid in sports with tournaments all summer. That was never our thing, and I'm so grateful for that, but to each his own. And if you have older kids, especially high school athletes, there's something a lot of parents don't realize, that fall sports often start before school does. I know that was news to me. Tryouts and conditioning can start in the middle of summer, and that can change your whole schedule if you're not planning for it. And if you have a graduating senior or college students, there can also be college orientations, summer programs, early move-in dates, all of the things that this mom is totally not ready for. So step one is really just mapping out those non-negotiables first, the things that are already committed to, because once you see those on your calendar, everything else becomes way easier to plan. Step two, decide how you want summer to feel. Once you have all of those logistics figured out, work schedules, camps, vacations, childcare, then you could step back and ask yourself a different kind of question. How do you want the summer to feel? Not what do I want to accomplish, not how many things do we want to do, but how do we want it to feel as a family? Do you want it to feel relaxed, adventurous? Do you want to feel more present, less rush, or more playful and spontaneous? Because once you identify the feeling you're going for, it's going to become so much easier to make decisions. It helps you decide what to say yes to, and just as importantly, what to say no to. For example, if you wanted your summer to feel calm and connected, then packing your calendar every weekend with activities might not actually support that. But if you want to feel adventurous, then maybe you plan a few day trips or try something new together. This step, this feeling, becomes your compass. So when opportunities pop up, invitations, activities, events, you can pause and you can ask yourself, does this support the kind of summer we want to have, or does it add more chaos? And when you start making decisions through that lens, summer is going to begin to feel a lot more intentional and totally less overwhelming. Step three, choose your summer priorities. Next, I want you to think about 3 to 5 things that would make this summer feel really meaningful to your family. Maybe it looks like family dinners outside, Friday night ice cream runs, a weekend trip, a vacation or a staycation, maybe more time at the pool. We honestly have some of the greatest memories from our trips to our town pool with the kids when they were little. And before we moved here, we didn't have a town pool. We were in Staten Island, and those just didn't exist in our neighborhood. But we did have a kiddie pool in the backyard, and it was just as fun. And honestly, so much easier because you have way more control over your environment and you can relax a lot more, especially with littles. And honestly, our family vacation with the kids when they were little, like toddlers and babies, we went to lakes, not beaches. I've always had a fear of my kids around water, and you have to be really cautious on beaches. So they weren't for us, but the Poconos in Pennsylvania was our go-to. We went to the same Airbnb every year, and the lake had this nice, large, shallow area where the kids could just play and I could sit back and relax without the fear of a wave taking them down. So I highly recommend lakes if you have little ones. And that's the point. Your priorities should match the season your family is in, because these are the moments that make summer feel really special. Intentional summers, they aren't about doing more. They're about doing the right things. And here's something I've noticed as my kids have gotten older. Once they hit the tween years, they want to start spending more time with their friends than they do with you. And that's just part of growing up. But it can definitely catch you off guard if you're not ready for it. And honestly, the biggest shift I saw with all 3 of my kids happened during that summer between elementary and middle school. And I can't even fully put it into words, but suddenly they just feel older, they act older, they go from still feeling like your little kids to having more independence, unfortunately, more opinions, and a bigger world outside of your house. And the other thing you're going to notice is that playdates don't happen through parents anymore. The kids actually text each other or call each other. And that's why there's such pressure to get cell phones around that time, because as soon as one of the kids gets cell phones, another kid gets cell phones, and then The kids are only hanging out with the ones who have cell phones because they're chatting with each other. So it gets really hard. And I've talked to so many parents who say the exact same thing. That summer just feels like such a turning point, which is why choosing your priorities matters so much. Because when you're clear on the moments that matter the most, you're more likely to protect that space for them while you still can. And not perfectly, because that's not the way life works, but intentionally enough that when you look back at summer, you remember the time that you did get to spend together. Step 4, create a simple summer bucket list. This is a really fun one to do with your kids, and it's something that we still do every year in some capacities. We sit them down and we ask them a simple question. What are a few things that you want to do this summer? And you might hear things like go to the beach, have a water balloon fight, stay up late and watch movies outside, go to the amusement park, make homemade ice cream, mini golfing. Write it all down. But here's the key. Keep the list realistic. You don't need 50 things. In our house, we usually try to do 3 ideas per kid and maybe have a few family ideas too. That way, it keeps it manageable and actually doable. And I'll link some of my other summer episodes where I share some more ideas, especially with little kids. But one of my favorite things was the mason jar bucket list. And here's how it works. You write each bucket list activity on a popsicle stick, and then you put them in a mason jar. Then the kids can randomly pick one out when you're looking for something fun to do. But the secret is to color coding the sticks so it makes your life so much easier. So, for example, blue sticks can be the simple free activities that you could do anytime, like water balloon fights, bike rides, chalking the sidewalk, a picnic outside, watching the sunset, or playing in the park. Red sticks can be rainy day activities like a movie night, baking cookies, building a fort, doing puzzles, playing with Play-Doh. Green sticks can be family moments like game nights, having dinner outside, campfire, ice cream runs. And orange sticks, activities that require a little planning or for you to spend money, like trips to the beach, the amusement park, mini golfing, bowling, things like that. And you could do something fun with this one, like on Sunday after dinner, you could tell the kids you're planning your week and that they get to pick an orange stick to decide what fun thing you're going to do as a family that week or the following weekend. And you can assign each kid a weekend where they get to pick the stick. But whatever it is, I love this idea. That way, when someone says I'm bored, you make it into a game and you could say, go pick a stick from the jar, and you could tell them what color to pick based on the time you have, your budget, the weather, or really what you feel like doing. And instantly you have an idea, and it actually turns summer fun into these little surprise moments, and it takes the pressure off you to constantly come up with new things to do. Plus, it gives your kids ownership of your summer plan too. And honestly, those simple, spontaneous moments are often the ones that end up being the most memorable. Step 5, create weekly traditions. This is one of my favorite ways to make summer feel really special without overscheduling every single minute, because when we think about creating a great summer, our brains immediately jump to these big plans like vacations and weekend trips and camps and activities. But the truth is, the moments kids remember most are the simple repeated traditions, the things that happen every week, those little rhythms that make summer feel different from the rest of the year. So instead of trying to plan something new every weekend, I want you to choose 1 or 2 simple weekly traditions that your family could look forward to. Like maybe Friday evenings at the pool and you order a pizza to the pool. I didn't even know that you could order food to our town pool until a few years ago. So I missed out a lot on this when the kids were little. I wish I knew that because we totally would have had pizza Fridays. Maybe ice cream every Wednesday night after work or camp. You bring the kids out for ice cream. Maybe every Sunday is a family barbecue outside in the backyard. One of the things we love to do with our kids when they were little is on Saturdays, we would go to their favorite park and have a picnic lunch, feed the ducks, and skip stones in the lakes. It was so simple, but some of the absolute best memories. And now my kids are great stone skippers. Michael actually surpassed my stone skipping skills. I learned how to skip stones in Ireland, where I spent my summers as a kid. We hung out by the lake a lot, and it's what we did for entertainment before cell phones. So I'm actually pretty good at it. And last summer, our family vacation was a trip to Ireland with my mom, and we met up with my aunt and my cousins. And it was really special. We toured the Ring and Kerry, and there were beautiful lakes, and I got to skip stones at a lake in Ireland with my kids. It was like it all came full circle. And again, it's something so simple, and that is something that they're going to remember forever. My point is, the things you do don't have to be fancy or cost money. Our picnics were free. I just packed up the lunch that I would have fed them at home. And what matters is that they're predictable and consistent. Kids love knowing on Fridays we do movie night. On Tuesday we have tacos. On Saturdays we go for a picnic in the park. Those traditions create rhythm in your week, and rhythm is what helps summer feel slower, calmer, and make you feel more connected. And it also makes life easier for you. Step 6, protect white space. This is one that a lot of working moms struggle with, but it's so important. Protecting that white space in your calendar. Because when summer starts filling up with camps and sports and vacations and family plans, it can be really tempting to schedule something every weekend or every free day. But if every moment is planned, something interesting happens. Summer starts to feel just as busy and just as rushed as the rest of the year. And the truth is, some of my best memories, not just my summer memories, happen in those unplanned moments, in that white space. The night everyone stays outside a little longer because the sun hasn't set yet, the spontaneous trip to the beach, that last minute trip to the pool, the evening when someone says, hey, let's go watch the sunset. And those moments don't happen because they were scheduled. They happen because there was space for them to happen. So when you're planning your summer, try not to fill up every weekend or every evening. Leave a few blank spots on your calendar. Leave room for spontaneity. Leave room for rest. Leave room for the days when everyone just wants to slow down and stay home, because summer doesn't need to be packed with activities to be meaningful. Sometimes those most memorable days are going to be the one where nothing is planned, but you just spend time as a family. Step 7, your anchoring question. Here's the question I want you to ask yourself when you think about this summer. A year from now, 2 years from now, even 5 years from now, what do you want to look back on and remember about this summer? My life coach, who I miss our weekly sessions, I really need to get back in touch with her. She used to ask me this question all the time whenever I was stressing about something. And every single time, it forced me to quiet that noise in my head. And it really just helped me learn to zoom out and see what actually mattered. And honestly, it was one of the biggest tools that helped me start breaking free from perfectionism. Because when you ask yourself that question, suddenly those little things that feel so urgent, they just don't seem quite as important. And when I think about what I want to remember about this summer, it's not answering more emails or finishing one more project. What I want to remember is that I made the most of it, that I wasn't stuck at my desk and on my computer all day, that I took breaks, that I went to watch the sunset with Michael, that I checked out a few new coffee spots with Ashley, that I did something fun and creative with Kaylee, that Russ and I made some amazing memories with friends, and that our family vacation was full of adventure, new experience, a lot of lazy beach trips, and a lot of laughs. Those are my anchors, and anchors are so powerful because they're going to guide your decisions. They help us decide what deserves space in our calendar and what doesn't. And when we sit down to plan our week, or when it's the middle of the week and that voice pops up telling us we need to work late again, those anchors remind us what actually matters. They remind us to log off of work so I don't miss that sunset. They remind us to take that break and go grab that cup of coffee. They remind us to do the creative thing, even when life feels so busy. And when it comes to vacation, work is not invited. No laptop, no just checking in, no emails. That boundary is one that Russ and I made a long time ago, because vacations are meant for being present, for recharging, and for actually living the life that you're working so hard for. Because a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, I don't want to look back and remember that I was too busy with work. And I definitely don't want my kids to remember that either. I don't want to realize that I missed the sunset, or that I sat at the coffee shop with Ashley but spent the whole time checking emails, especially now that she's about to head off to college, or that we didn't try the new things or create memories because I felt like I had too much on my plate. Because here's the truth. You're never going to look back and say, I wish I worked more on vacation, but you might look back and wish that you were more present. So this summer, please give yourself permission to disconnect, not just from work, but from that endless to-do list and the responsibilities that life is constantly throwing our way. I want you to protect the moments that matter. I want you to be present with your family, to recharge your batteries, to take in those sunsets, get up for the sunrise. And if you have not gotten up for a sunrise in your life, please do yourself a favor on vacation, especially if you're near a beach, because they're just magical. Please get up for a sunrise and take a picture of it and send it to me. And if you're not in our Facebook group, it is Work-Life Balance for Working Moms. I would love for you to join me and just flood it with posts of sunrises that would just light my life up, because those are the moments that become your best memories. And my final thoughts, I promise you, years from now, your kids probably won't remember the camp schedules or that perfectly planned calendar. They're going to remember the laughs, the traditions, the moments when everyone slowed down long enough to just be together. So give yourself permission this summer to focus on what matters most. Not a perfect summer, an intentional one. And I'd love to hear something fun you're planning to do this summer. So come on over to our Facebook community, Work-Life Balance for Working Moms, and tell me all about it. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Carrie Pat. Before you go, if you found this podcast helpful, I would be so grateful if you would take a minute, go on over to iTunes and leave me a review. If you have other stressed out mamas in your life that you feel this podcast could help, take a screenshot of this episode, post it on your Instagram stories and tag me, and let them know that they are not alone and they can create balance in their life too. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover or you just want to connect, DM me on Instagram at mom.wife.career.life or come on over and hang out in our free Facebook community, Work-Life Balance for Working Moms. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Carrie Pat.